Hello, receiving students, receiving teachers and ATs. Thank you, take your seat. Receiving students and ATs, I'd like you to look at the screen. I have a question for you on the screen. Okay, question is, what did we learn in our previous lesson? I will give you a few minutes to discuss what you have learned in your previous lesson. In your groups, I'd like you to discuss. Think of anything that is new that you have discovered in your previous lesson. Okay, let's hear from Pindo. Pindo, can you tell us what you have learned in your previous lesson? Receiving students, I hope you would like to discuss that with your whole class. Tell your teacher what you have learned in your previous lesson. So in the model class, we will have Pindo to tell us what she have learned in her previous lesson.
We learned about collection of data.
Very good. Thank you. Let's have a last one, Ruben. Ruben, can you tell the class what you have learned in your previous lesson?
We learned how to collect data through survey.
Thank you. Good. So collecting data was the first stage in the statistics. Once that was the first step. The next step, after the data is collected, the next step is to organize the data. And receiving students and teachers, today's lesson, we will look at how to organize the data after it is being collected. But before we go any further, I would like to introduce the topic, strand and substrand for today's lesson. Okay, our strand and substrand is change and data. Strand, change and data. Substrand, statistics. Learning outcomes, as you can see from the screen, interpreting information presented statistically. Lesson objective for today, organize and display data in table, explain data displayed and definition. Lesson topic for today will be on organizing data in table. Receiving students and ATs, I would like to show you an example of data that has been collected. Now let's have a look at the board. I have an example of data which have been collected in 8A. From the board, here are the list of the survey, a survey that has been carried out in 8A on the number of children in each of the in the family of each of these students. Okay? Like you have did in your previous lesson, you went ahead collecting data, doing survey, asking on a topic. So, this is the data that I have collected, and we will use this data to organize it in a table. Okay. Receiving students and ATs, our activity for today we are going to organize this data in a table. Receiving teacher, in your previous lesson, you were to prepare flashcards. So receiving teacher, I'd like you to, before we go to doing our activity, I would like to define a word which will be given, or as you go through this lesson, you will come across to the word. So the word is on the screen. Please make note of the word which is on the screen. Frequency, the word is is frequency, and the meaning of the word is being given there. Frequency means the number of time a score appears. As we go through the lesson, you will come across to this word. So make note of the meaning, receiving students. Okay, it shouldn't take you that long. Our today's activity, we are going to use group work. The strategy is group work, receiving students and receiving teachers. So, receiving teacher, divide your students in 6 groups and give out each group a flashcard, which you have been told to prepare. A flashcard like this, you should have prepared a flashcard. On each flashcard, a number written, 1 up to 6. So you should have the flashcard written in this way and been given to each of those 6 groups. The next instruction, receiving teachers, you are to draw a frequency table on the board. If you are not clear, see the example from the board in the model lesson. Now, today's activity, we are going to organize this data in a frequency table. And this is how we will do. There will be 6 students that will be called up to the front, and they will fill in the tally and the frequency table. So, receiving students and teachers, I hope you understand the process on how we will. I'd like you to observe the process on how we are going to fill in this frequency table with this data which is given on the chart here. Okay? Now, receiving students, receiving teacher, I hope you have prepared a flashcard like this, as you've been told in a previous lesson, for your students to be used in the activity. So, can I have the following students up to the front? As I call your name, please walk up to the front. Samuel, Michael, Vicky, Maybelline, Martha, and Christina. Michael, please wear your, those students, please wear your card and give the bag to the class. Okay, Christina will call out the data. Christina, you will read out this data. As you read out the data, these 6 students who have the flashcards with them will come and fill in the tally column. So we will fill in the tally column first. Students, we are going to fill in the tally column. So these 6 students, as Christina reads a data from here, whatever number that is being called, you must come and write a number according to the data that is going to be called. So, Christina, I'd like you to call the data.
Peter 5.
Okay. Peter, oh, sorry. Start. Okay. Good.
Nema 5. Mary 5. Pepper 3. Jill 4. Gary 2. Paul 2. Ali 6. Pet 3. DN 6. Dita 4. Lot 4.
That's okay.
Jerry 4. Ellie 3. Joanne 4.
Cross.
John 4. Saki 4. Bill 3. Jane 3, Nick 2, Joe 1, N 3, Rose 5, Laura 5, Fred 2, Alan 4, Susie 2, Tano 3, Ume 4, and Lino 6.
Thank you, Christina. Okay, now we will fill in the frequency table. As you can see from this table here, the tally column has been already filled. So I will again ask the students who were writing the tally to fill in the frequency table. Okay, let's have the first one. As you can see, now the frequency column has been completed. So this table is now fully complete with the information that is from this data is being transferred or organized into a frequency table. Now you can see from this table table has been completed. Now we have the last thing to complete, which is the total frequency. But before we complete write the total frequency, I'd like to say thank you to the following students who have participated to fill in this table. Thank you. You can take your seat. Come and put your cards here and the markers and take your seat. Okay. Class, can you tell me what is the frequency, total frequency of this table here? What is the total frequency? 30. Very good, 30. So, receiving students, I hope you have seen the process of how to organize data in a frequency table. So, this is another way that data can be presented. After collecting, you can also present data in this manner here, or this way. Now, you can see this data that has been collected is now being organized in a table. And from here, you can read information that is being presented in the table clearly. What does 9 really mean here? Yes? Okay, let's have Katrina. Katrina? What does 9 means here?
Number of time is co-occurs.
Number of time
Is co-occurs.
that a score occurs. Thank you. Okay. 9 simply means that 9 people are 9 people that were interviewed had 4 children in their family. So that's what frequency 9 simply means. 9 people that were interviewed had 4 children in their family. So, this is one way that data can be presented in a frequency table or in a table. The next activity, there are 3 questions which are based from the table, based on the table there, which have been given. Looking at those 3 questions, please answer the following questions, which are based on the table there. The first question is, what is the most frequent number of children in a family? So you look at the table and try to work out the most number of frequent, that is number of children in the family. And number 2, how many students have less than 3 children in their family? And number 3, what is the largest number of children in the family? So I would like you to work on those questions. The questions are based on the table. Sorry, Please make note of the additional activities which is given on the screen. Finish. Finish. Answer the questions already. What is the most frequent number of children in a family? Frequency. What does frequency mean? Finish. First question. Frequency comes from the word. Frequency is the base word. Frequency is the frequency comes from the word frequency. Frequency means the number of times a score appears. It's the same word. Okay. Frequency is the frequent is the base word. Just like walk. Walk is the base word. So when we add ing, it becomes a verb. A verb or add verb, walking. Finish. Receiving teacher, I hope you make note of the additional activities. You tell your students to organize the data collected in the survey in a frequency table. Okay, let us look at the answers to the questions. The first question, what is the most frequent number of children in a family? Okay. What does frequent mean? Number of time a score occurs. So, look at this data. Which score has the highest frequency? 4. So 4. So, what is the most frequent number of children in a family is 4. Meaning that many of these students that were interviewed, 4 was the common. Many of the children in the family were 4. So 4 is the answer. Receiving students, I hope you got that answer 4. 2. How many students have less than 3 children in their family? Okay, let us look at the data. The data will tell us how many children that in the family have less than 3 in their family. So, less than 3, we will look at 2 and 1. So, how many? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, it is 6. Okay, let us look at the last question. What is the largest number of children in a family? Largest number of children in the family? Okay, the table, the data tells us that 6 is the largest. And the frequency is 3. 3 children that were interviewed, they have 6 children in their family. So the answer is 6. Receiving students, I hope you have got all these answers which have been corrected. If you did not get the answers, please make your own corrections. And before we go to the end of the lesson, before we end the lesson, I'd like Simon to tell us, or in one sentence or 2 sentences, to sum up today's lesson. Simon, can you sum up today's lesson for us, please?
We learn how to arrange the data.
Data. Thank you. Arranging data in table. Okay, it is very important. The important thing that you must know, receiving students and ATs, organizing data in a table. In table is another way of presenting data. After you collect the data, you have to organize it. And there are different ways that can be organized. One of them is by organizing them in a table. This is one way that you can organize data before you present it or can interpret whatever information that is being given from the table. Receiving students and ATs, our key phrase for today is data in table. And our next lesson topic is organizing data in graphs. That will be another way of presenting data. Today we looked at organizing in table. Our next lesson will be on graphs. And materials needed, receiving teacher, has been shown on the screen there. Receiving students and ATs, this has bring us to the end of the lesson for today. Thank you for your participation. Thank you.